Hello and welcome to Hot Drops episode 5, more Apex Legends with me, PMC317. So for today's episode, what we're going to be doing is playing lots of games as Gibraltar and mostly dying. I'm not very good with him, I've not played him very much, so I'm still really getting the hang of him and how he plays, how he uses his ultimate, his gun shield, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, without further ado, we might as well just crack on and get stuck in. The first game was a classic drop into Skull Town, where, as everyone knows, it's all a hectic, horrible mess, filled with people trying to kill each other at high speed, which is perfect for this sort of thing, because either we do really well and come out of it with loads of kills, or more likely, and what actually happened, is we dropped in and all died like chumps really quickly. So I landed and was doing my usual desperate hunt for a gun, which initially didn't seem very promising. Then I came up with the Hemlock, so that was alright, because I'm quite a fan of the Hemlock. It's not too bad as these things go. And I picked up a P2020 just in case, but as it turned out I never got a chance to use it. I did, however, get some nice blue add-ons for the Hemlock, so I was quite pleased and feeling fairly, good to go. I was going to try and join up with my rest of my squad, came under some fire, managed to duck into some cover, and I thought about healing up, but realised probably I was going to be attacked if I did that. And I'm right enough, there was a bloodhound that came to try and flank me. I managed to get out of their line of sight, and I thought I'd be clever. Bumped into each other, but they had a peacekeeper and knew how to use it, and I died. So that was the first game. So, of course, the only thing to do then is just go straight back, which is what I did. Straight back in, and this time I was hoping for a little bit of a better showing. There was only two of us, so that's never a good start. And again, we jumped early. This is quite an interesting place to drop. I've only dropped here a couple of times, and I quite like it. It's sort of out of the way, particularly this little island with the radar, the satellite dish on it. The only problem that I had was that there was nothing on it that I could heal with, and that was going to be an issue very quickly. So I managed to get myself a G7, which, as you might have remembered from a couple of my other videos, I quite like. I quite enjoy it as a gun. It's not brilliant, but it's quite good for plinking away at people once you get the hang of it. I stole the R99 off my teammate, but I think she might have already had one, so I didn't feel too guilty about it. And then I took some pot shots, hit the Pathfinder a couple of times. As you can see, they hadn't managed to find a purple shield. Came under some serious fire, much more accurate, much more powerful than my own shooting, and I was very quickly knocked down to hardly any health at all. So I thought I'd probably going to get killed here and then, but they didn't push for whatever reason, at least not straight away, so that was, saved my bacon a little bit. So then I sort of hid in the doorway and thought I'd maybe get a chance to get some pot shots. I might maybe be able to knock somebody down, at least that was the plan, because I figured if we knocked someone down then we could push forward, so I might be able to find something to heal with, but as it turned out that didn't happen.
Reloading.
For some reason I swapped the R99, not entirely sure why. I think my idea initially was I was going to try and rush it, but then I got shot.
I'm down, brother.
Okay, so having been shot in the head, I went over to the zip line because I figured it would be easier for my teammate to get to me whether I was still alive and revivable or a death box. But very quickly the enemy Pathfinder punched the zip line across to me, and I figured, oh no, I don't want them to get any of my stuff. So I thought I would do what was probably fairly trolling, but anyway, I jumped off the cliff and died. I quite like the ragdoll here. So that was that. Went out of that match, came into the next one, and thought, come on, this time I must get a kill, because it's probably worth noting at this stage, all the times I've played Gibraltar, I hadn't yet managed to get any kills at all with him. So initially I wanted to go for a hot drop, but the jump master didn't go for it, which is a bit of a disappointment, but there we go. So instead they were going to Skull Town, because, you know, Skulltown's a popular place where all the cool kids go, and I figured, well, okay, there is that, but what might be a better idea is to drop a little bit short and try and get some stuff, and then go into Skulltown already tooled up, rather than, you know, desperately chasing, running around looking for guns and gear. So I did that. I dropped short, possibly a little bit too short, and because I was playing with random teammates, I didn't have any Discord open or anything like that, so I couldn't chat to them, couldn't let them know what I was doing. But I did get myself another hemlock and some bits and pieces. And then I fiddled around with my gun shield. I'm still really trying to get the hang of that. Put my hemlock onto single shot because actually I prefer it like that. The burst fire is okay, but I'd rather have something that was either fully automatic or single shot, and I think the single shot works really well on the hemlock. Swapped the P2020 out for the R301 because why wouldn't you? Picked up the Phoenix kit, some body armour, and started to move. At this point, my team were under fire, so I said that I was going to, you know, come over and help them. They both got downed pretty quickly, and then in the standard practice for, you know, random teammates, first one and then the other just disconnected, which was a bit annoying because I was on the way to try and get to them. There you go, there goes the Octane, and then not much longer after that the Bloodhound goes as well. However, I was quite pleased with this bit. I managed to pop off a few shots and eliminated someone from underneath the garage door, and I really liked that. There you go. So I'd picked up some stuff from my fallen squad mate. It was just me on my own. Found some death boxes, looted them a bit. They had some decent gear. I really liked Devotion, particularly with the turbocharger that I had. It's a really good gun. I've had some good results with it in the past, particularly using it with Wraith. I don't know why, it was just in the past with Wraith I've been really good with the Devotion. Not so much in this game though, and you'll see that in a moment. So I was still running around in Skulltown, trying to get myself some gear, make myself able to last possibly a little bit longer in a firefight, and I was fairly certain that there were other people around, because for starters somebody had killed the rest of my squad, but I couldn't seem to find anybody, so I just kept moving, kept running about, because if you stay still then chances are good someone will get the jump on you and you will find yourself very dead very quickly. Probably I stayed in Skulltown a bit too long, but there we go. By this point I was desperately looking for somebody to fight.
Attention. There is a new kill leader.
So after this tour of Skulltown's rooms, I decided to try and get moving. This way seemed a little bit unlooted, so I got here and then I could hear somebody coming. So I made them wait for me and failed horribly to kill them and died myself. So there we go, that was my first kill with Gibraltar, followed by some terrible shooting with the Devotion. And I just went straight back in because obviously I was a glutton for punishment. Again, there was only 2 people in the squad, and I wanted to jump really short, but the Pathfinder didn't, and we ended up going to Air Base. Despite, you know, getting out of the drop ship really early on, we then just spent our time flying.
Okay, never mind. Here we go.
Air Base is quite a good place to go generally. This time probably would have been even better if we'd lived long enough, because they had high tier loot. So I was quite excited on one level to get down there. As it turned out, I didn't last very long. So I went for the little ship on the landing pad, managed to land on it, which was interesting. Picked up a Prowler. Prowlers are okay, I quite like them, particularly with the alt fire mode and the Wingman. I was still, you know, reasonably pleased with the Wingman, with my shooting with it with the Pathfinder. You might have seen that in the previous Apex Legends Hot Drops video, but it wasn't enough to save me, and this lifeline killed me again. So this is video from the final game I played as Gibraltar in this particular session, and it's mainly included because I got to use his ultimate for the first time. So we'd come under fire. It's the first time we'd seen the enemy all game. I managed to get the mortar barrage off. I'm not sure how effective it was. It didn't appear to do any damage, but it sounded cool. Unfortunately, I couldn't really see it because I was hiding behind this truck and healing up. I then tried to get involved in the firefight, and for my pains, just got knocked down pretty quickly. So that was, you know, perhaps not as effective as I could have been. I don't think I had my gun shield up either. It's really confusing sometimes. I think I've got the gun shield up, I haven't, and other times I've got the gun shield up and I think I don't. So I got knocked down, but luckily I managed to get into cover behind the truck again. One of my squad mates comes down and revives me. You might see me do this a lot in my Apex videos, but if I'm revived by a teammate or I get resurrected by a teammate, I always say thanks in the chat, just because I think it's good manners, and I think good manners are really important in a multiplayer game. So after getting downed, I put up a medkit, and then I got involved in the firefight that my two squad mates had gone off to start, and they both got killed, or both got downed and then killed, and then I got involved and got down and got killed, and that was that. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you think there's anything I could do any differently, either playing or with these videos. Thank you very much, and I shall see you all tomorrow.